What if I told you that for only $25 and some hard work, you could have an investment that would pay you back hundreds of dollars every year for the next 20 years? And you know what? It gets even better than that. Hey Provident Gardeners, I'm Kylene, and today I have a special video for you. But before we get into that, I'd like to thank Michelle at Big Valley Living for inviting us to participate in the 30 Days of Preparedness collaboration. September is Preparedness Month, and it's a good time just to look and make sure that we are ready for whatever happens. And that's one of the reasons why today we are going to talk about fruit trees. Now, the return of investment on a fruit tree is crazy, and I will show you some of the math, but part of that starts with good shopping to begin with. Now, I picked up these trees just this last week. I was driving down the road and saw a sign that there were fruit trees on sale, so I stopped in and got some fantastic varieties, and I only paid, well, it depends. One of them was $27, but the rest were all $21 for a fruit tree. And the return on investment of a fruit tree for digging a hole, putting it in the hole. You don't use pesticides and sprays on my trees, so I don't have to worry about that. You do have to water them, but this is a crazy investment. I want to talk to you about this. Now, think about this. A plum tree. Okay, if your initial investment is $25 and you put $10 in some type of amendments for your soil, that's $35. Your annual yield for a plum tree is between 50 and 80 pounds. We're going to be conservative and we're going to use 58 for our calculations. But I just went to Walmart and the store price there is $1.32 for one plum, which makes them about $4 a plum. So that means that your annual value is $232 for planting a plum tree in your backyard. The 20-year value is $4,640. And your return on investment is over 13,000%. And you might think, well, what am I going to do with all those plums? This year, we got a little bit over 60 pounds of plums off of just one of our trees. And we have eaten a lot fresh. We've shared with friends. We've dried some. We've freeze-dried them. Normally, we would bottle some, but this year we just freeze-dried and dried them all. And now we'll eat fresh from our garden all year long out of things that we have grown. Now, let's do the same thing with a peach tree. You've got your initial investment, and a mature peach tree produces between 120 and 150 pounds. That means at Walmart price, when I just went, it was $1.47 per peach, which means that an annual value would be $427 every year from that peach tree. Over 20 years, that's $8,540 or a 24,000% return on a peach tree. Crazy. All right, let's talk about orange tree. I would love to grow an orange tree, but I don't live in the right environment. Annually, an orange tree will produce between 400 and 600 fruits, which means that it's $450 a year or $9,000 for that tree over a 20-year period of time, which is a 25,600% return. The biggest winner of the bunch is the apple tree. The annual yield of a semi-dwarf apple tree is between 225 and 450 pounds. That's a lot of apples. The store price, it had a huge range depending on the variety of apples. So a lot of this depends on the variety that you choose, but we're going to use $1.75 a pound, which means that every year that's $473. The tree is worth $9,460 for a 27,000% return over 20 years. Now, there's all kinds of different things that enter into this, right? You've got bug issues. You might have one year where you don't get some. So I'm not saying that this is perfect, but man, what a critical investment. And that doesn't take into account interest or inflation or anything like that. Planting a fruit tree is a really good investment, but one of the most important things to me, that means that I have food growing on my own property that I don't have to plant every year, that produces an abundant crop so that I can have fresh fruits to eat and then to preserve. It just bridges that gap. So if you want to be more self-reliant, I definitely would invest in some fruit trees. They look great in with your regular landscape. Fruit trees can be beautiful. They have beautiful blossoms in the spring, and then they've got the green foliage in the summertime, which is a great shade tree. And then the ornamental value of all of those beautiful pieces of fruit on it, they're spectacular. So don't think that you have to have an orchard or put it someplace off in the distance, which you can, but you can also just, an apricot tree in your front yard is a beautiful addition to your front yard. So think about that. But one of the final things that I really like about having my own fruit trees is that I can grow varieties that aren't available in the store anywhere. Let me show you one of my very unique fruit trees. I want to introduce you to my pluerry. A pluerry is a cross between a plum and a cherry. So they're small and they are absolutely delicious. And this girl is ready to be harvested. We're just waiting for them to get just a little bit sweeter, because the other thing about growing fruit at your own house is that you don't have to harvest it before it's actually ripe so that it'll survive the market. You can wait until it's just the optimal sweetness, and then you pick it and then you preserve it. And it is such an amazing treat. That's the other thing that I really like about growing my own fruit. I can have all kinds of different varieties that you just can't buy in the store. So if you want to really put your money to work and increase your food security and just be really smart and happy and eat delicious foods, this month, while the trees are being closed out, go buy a fruit tree, find a place to plant it in your yard, and prune it up really nice. You gotta prune the things, but then enjoy the abundance that the tree will provide for you for many, many years to come. Thanks for joining me in the garden, and let me know what tree you would like to plant in your yard and what you're going to do for the 30 days of preparedness so that you're better prepared tomorrow than you were today.